Sabimaru is a dual-wielding poison combo, and holy crap does it look badass. You actually have two Sabimaru chains. The default chain is mostly comprised of the prosthetic and your sword taking turns attacking. Unlocked with the improved Sabimaru, if you perform a normal attack, you do a dodge that transitions into the second chain. Your attacks are slower, but you now swing both weapons simultaneously. Once again, a normal attack will do a dodge attack that transitions back into the first chain. This means you can effectively perform an infinite combo as long as you have the spirit emblems. You spend one spirit emblem every 2 attacks in the chain, starting with the first. And I stress, in the chain. If you do 2 attacks, then dodge into the next chain, you just did 3 attacks for 1 spirit emblem. Each hit from the Sabimaru prosthetic deals 1 point of poison damage, regardless if it's blocked or not. The exception being wooden shields and armor worn by giants. Oh, I am being very specific. You have to hit with the prosthetic itself. Hits from your sword will not do poison damage. This makes the second combo chain the most emblem efficient way of dealing poison, since the Sabimaru is now involved in every hit. And you still only spend 1 spirit emblem every other attack. However, the longer hits between each swing means timing the dodges is harder compared to the first, where the attacks are very fast, and it's rather easy to dodge attacks. Unfortunately, the dodge attack itself does not do poison damage for some reason. There are 3 factors to consider when it comes to poison: how easy it is to poison, their reaction to poison, and how much health they have. First one, pretty straightforward. Some enemies have very low tolerance to poison. In fact, here's a chart of the various enemies, bosses, and mini-bosses and their vulnerability to poison. You have to fill up the poison meter. Remember that they are constantly recovering from the poison, so you need to keep it up. Unlike Stagger, you're not going to accidentally poison them. Each hit from the Sabimaru deals 1 point of poison status, the exception being the mid-air Sabimaru. It does 2 hits, but each hit only has 0.5 points of poison, so you get 1 point when you touch the ground. While the poison tolerance of, say, 6.45 requires only 7 hits on paper, in practice you'll probably need 8 hits as you try to outrace the recovery speed, more if you get interrupted. Alright, second part. Some enemies and mini-bosses have violent reactions to poison. The Okami, Orin, Snake Eyes. The moment they get poisoned, they take 15% max health damage, as well as take a moment to vomit, leaving them open to attack. Side note about Snake Eyes at the poison pool, she only reacts to your poison. While the poison pool can poison her, she only reacts to the Sabimaru poison. Now the third bit. Once the target is poisoned, over the course of 20 seconds, they lose 15% of their max health. And right off the bat, you should see where would be good. The size of the health bar does not matter. 15% of max health every time. The bigger their health, the better, making poison really good against giants. While applying this to said giants can be tricky, it's worth it, especially against enemies who spend their entire time attacking. Reminder that not only does the Sabimaru deal damage, but your attacks as you continue the fight will also deal damage, and this stacks up. And if they are sensitive to poison, they lose 30% of their health. The first 15 from the initial poisoning, and then an additional 15 over time. The long chains makes this a suppressive attack, in the same vein as floating passage and praying strikes. Should the enemy perform a spam punish, use the dodge mechanic to get out of the way. Of course, this also means it's weak against anyone with a small health bar. There really is no reason to use this against weak enemies when your sword will do more damage per hit. Some enemies are more vulnerable than others. Most take around 6 hits to poison, but some, like the ninjas, take a lot to poison. If the ninjas have a poison punch in their moveset, then they are outright immune to poison. Illusions and ghosts are immune to poison, go figure. Anything with a snake poking out of its head is also immune to poison. But keep in mind, it has to have the centipede hanging out, meaning the first and second phase of Corrupted Monk can be poisoned. The Guardian Ape may be a Gould, but that snake is still in his head, so he can be poisoned. But once he goes headless, he becomes immune. White monkeys are also immune for some reason. The top branches are Piercing Sabimaru and Lazulite Sabimaru. Piercing Sabimaru does more damage overall, as well as chip damage. This flat upgrade makes it superior to all the previous versions, and best handling single targets as the poison damage will stack up with the higher prosthetic damage. The Lazulite Sabimaru tosses a lingering poison blade with extended range. And I'm being very careful with my words here. Not poison cloud, poison blade. Like the extended blade of Bestowal. So if you toss it out, enemies will only get hit by it once. Sitting in it will not build up poison. You need to keep tossing it out there. While it is unfortunate to a degree, it has its uses. Slow guys will need multiple blades, but now you can poison fast guys by throwing up a wall, then getting them to rush through it. Also, you build up poison twice as fast, as each Sabimaru swing hits with both blade and poison blade. 2 points per swing. This is also good against ganks because the entire Congo line can walk through the poison mist, and they all get health shaved off. Keep in mind that your sword makes up half the combo, so you get all the benefits and detriments. Example, the sword attacks from the Piercing Sabimaru don't do chip. But if you buff your sword, then it'll get the buff with each swing, whether it's fire or blood blade. So if you catch your opponent on fire mid-combo, they become open to your Sabimaru combo, making it even easier to poison them. Watch me take out Guardian Ape and only block one attack. The Fume Firecrackers will stun and increase the damage I do. Same with the Flame Vent. And these two will clear a path for the poison. And I'm going to use Piercing Sabimaru as opposed to Lazulite to make it harder to poison. So to recap, Sabimaru is extremely good against giants. The bigger the health pool, the better. Remember that you still easily do health damage, so this stacks up with poison. But you can still use it against humans if their health bars are big, meaning that bosses and mini-bosses are on the menu. Once poisoned, you can focus on dealing posture damage. Combat arts like Dragon Flash and prosthetics like Sendro and the Spiral Spear do more posture damage than health damage. Unless you're using the Lazulite to deal with hordes, there's not really much point using this against little guys.
They let my guard down.